Putting in the work, y'all. Putting in the work. Welcome to another episode of the Lancescurv Show. And today we have a very powerful brother African Ross. He's going to speak on his experiences, his ideologies, and his findings in his personal journey as a melanated, copper-colored black man, African, as we all are connected. No matter what they're trying to put out against us to keep us apart, we're coming together. No matter what the propaganda is, we're coming together. It's too late. Sorry, government-paid agents. We are connected to Africa. Melanin is our source. The ancestral downloads are guiding us, and we're coming together as a people. And on that note, I want to introduce to you Brother African Ross. My brother, how are you doing tonight?
Hey, I'm doing fine. How is everybody doing?
Oh, great. Except I have a little tickle in my throat, so I will be muting myself every now and then. But talk to me, brother. We had a little pre-conversation that was phenomenal. We touched on a whole few different things, your background, the things you're into, and I know that there's so much more to you as there are so much more to our sisters and brothers once we dig beneath the surface. We're multi-talented. We have many levels. We have many perceptions. And the more that we're connected to nature and away from this European leech system of oppression, we'll be better off. We can connect to each other better. We are family and we are connected. We're all connected to nature. Talk to me, brother.
All right. How you doing? Before I say anything, I would, since you're my elder, it doesn't matter from where I'm from. It doesn't matter if you're a year or 6 months older than me. You're still my elder, and I will ask for your permission to speak first.
Oh, most definitely, my brother. Thanks for the respect. And, I'll add on to that I may be your elder in chronological years. I'm definitely your older, but in many respects that I say to everybody in the melanated family that I might be an older and an elder in certain respects, but you might be my elder in the depth of knowledge that you possess. So, my chronological age must submit to the truth that you share. So in that respect, you're an elder, but thank you for the respect. And even though you show me the respect, I'm going to show you the respect right on back as a knowledgeable brother who can teach me something. You know what I mean?
And that's appreciable. I appreciate that so much. And wow, I don't think my knowledge, because it's not my knowledge. The thing I want to share with people is that whatever we're looking for is there already. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Like, quick background about myself. I'm from Africa, Ghana.
Yes.
West Africa. Born there.
Wow.
Came here about 6 years old. Okay. You may think that people don't understand what's going on until the age, up to the age of 5, but I do remember my great-grandmother, my grandmother, and they were giving birth to children of the village. No doctors, no machines, and nothing like that. They would boil herbs. Ladies would come and they would have their babies. I've seen children born, and I've seen healthy children walk away from just basically nothing. You don't need a hospital.
Right.
And, so seeing things like that have prepared me for my journey, which I didn't know in America. When you come to America, it's a whole different narrative. You start to learn and everything like that. But then sooner or later, once you adhere to nature, you got to go back. You got to go back to what you, because man has never created anything. And for the viewers, no disrespect to anybody, but if you can think of anything man has created that's good for man without the side effects, without the death, please share it, because I have yet to find anything. But let's go on. So I'm here in America now. Okay, you start watching TV, you start going to school. I was supposed to be, I'm one of those guys that came here. I'm supposed to be smart or whatever they call smart is, because I can read a book.
Yes.
In an African family, they chastise you. I mean, they will ostracize you if you do not have some level of education.
Wow.
Okay? Yes, they will ostracize.
But that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Well, no, not really.
I mean,
well, it depends.
Tell me what you mean.
Good, but then, when I say they will ostracize you, is like you could have knowledge without an MBA, without PhDs or whatever. Like that.
So I pull that back. I won't say that's a good thing. So they're pushing you basically for a European education.
Right.
Oh,
and we
okay,
have to understand that.
Right. I'm not with that. We have
to understand in 1957, when Ghana got its independence, so-called independence from Britain, the elite were pushing that, what do you say, that European lifestyle. That's all that was pushed. So now, if you even listen to the Ghana president now, it's no disrespect, but he sounds more English than African.
Right. They definitely push that over there.
Right. So, and most of the leaders in Africa nowadays, they live in England anyway. They live in England, Belgium, all their parenting countries, their parenting countries. That's where they live at. Okay. So, but I'm not here to talk about, all of that stuff. Just that's quick background on me. So you got to understand that my education level, I don't even know where to put that at, because I passed high school and everything, went to some college, but my father always taught me to read ahead of everybody in school. You understand? Like one thing, you come in the house, what did you do in school today? Oh, y'all up to chapter 1? All right, y'all doing chapter 2 tomorrow? All right, by the time you finish your homework, I need you to get to chapter 5. No complaints. You have to be ahead of everybody. That was how my father taught it. But then, he was taught about the European system too, because he went to a boarding school in Ghana too that was basically European. But like I said, there's some good aspects of this education and bad aspects of the education. Like I say, they will ostracize you if you like, say, if I go amongst my family, I don't have a bachelor's degree. Right. It doesn't matter because I think, in ourselves, we always think I'm more grand than what we know. But I know that I'm more adept and more able than a person with a PhD. Right. See, so that's what I thought. That's what I thought before when you said they'll ostracize you, that to have that original knowledge, and lots of us over here in the United States who may not know how things go in the motherland, in the cultural, it's not one thing. I know it's not everybody's the same way, but we many over there honor the European thing more than they do their own culture in history. And having two names, and you say, well, what's your name? Oh, my name is George. And wait a second, what's your name? Then they give you the real name. So their influence over there with religion and the so-called, indoctrination, which, so-called education, indoctrination, we have to really see what we're looking at when we talk to someone from the motherland, because we're going over there sometime thinking like, oh man, this is the original. They're proud of it. And they're looking at you like, wow, you're American and you got this European thing more than me. And we're looking at each other the wrong way, because I'm not trying to go the European way. I want to go the original way. And we have many brothers and sisters who may be trying to shake that off and assimilate into, you see what I mean? So we got to get straight on that. So I'll take that back where, okay, the fact that he said you got to read ahead, but what about staying rooted in who you are? And what they're teaching you is not teaching you who you are. So I understand you 100%. I just want to make that correction, brother. Right. Well, I would say a lot of them, like, you got older folks that are very proud that tell you come and get the paper out here. And then, but the indoctrination starts from here. It starts from here. See, like people like me come in here. All right. When I was in like school, when I was in, say, elementary school, 397, 92, and it was a different treatment. I noticed that they treat me different when my father, handled the school, always coming up to school or whatever, So I noticed the different treatment, and then, a lot of the teachers were Jewish. And they would, start, right, and they would start talking to me different. They would talk to my father. They would conversate and everything like that. But then it's like when my father's not there, you understand, you're more closely to the people that look like you or act like you. So it's a lot of things that have been spun around our heads and whatnot. Like Africans come here, they get a little something. They go back to their country where they, you don't see these trinkets and foolishness. And, this person went there for a few years. He really ain't nothing, but he came back with something, that you think it's something.
Right.
So now, I got to be like him. But you have people, don't get me wrong, because everybody doesn't, because now it's a different Africa because people are waking up now, And like, when you saying like our people have to connect, I had to make that connection myself. You see, because like I said, when I first got out here, they teaching you show tunes and all types of European stuff. You know what I mean?
For real.
So, right. So now they telling you the street dudes, stay away from them. They telling you this, but it was the street dudes that showed me love. In Brooklyn, that people that hang out in front of the buildings, they be like, hey, shorty, take your butt to school,
Right.
They told me to go to school. I wasn't scared of nothing. It was my father that I was scared of. You had drug dealers in there said, look, if you don't take your ass upstairs, I'm going to tell your father. And that's all anybody had to tell me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm talking about killers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
an abundance of them all over the city.
Right. Exactly. You know how Brooklyn is, so that's how it went out there. But then, you had the gentleman back in those days, the gentleman that told you, go help that woman with her bags. That told us kids what to do because they knew the right things to do. Right. And everything. All right. My family, when they first got here, they, Africans, basically Africans are scared. They're coming from thousands of miles. Okay. So I hear a lot of people talking about Africans are punks and this and that. Nobody's coming thousands of miles knowing that he got all this on his shoulders to come here and fight you over a pair of sneakers, a little bit of money. You understand? So you could say they punks, but it's your mind.
Right.
And so I have to connect myself because, you always hear, let's go to Paris. Let's go to Europe. Let's go, all the good places that they make seem good. It's in Europe. Man, I found one of my best friends. He's a Jamaican, right? Mm-hmm. From St. Thomas, right? Knew him since we was in like 3rd, 4th grade. Friends up to this day. Okay, and his father was a dread, so he taught me a lot of the things his father and his people taught him. But the thing is, it's not like he was teaching me anything because it's the same thing that I knew from my great-grandmother and my grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
The whole not, addressing things with your left hand. This is something you just can't make up.
Right.
So I started connecting. Then you hear you meet the GTs, the Chinese people. Then you meet the Trinis. Then Barbadians. Then you start hearing soca. Like, wait, hold up, that's kind of like our life music. It's no difference once you start really looking in it and alleviating, taking out the languages out, knowing the beat, the vibe, and everything. It starts being the same and everything like that. Okay, so now we know that we've been, the worst Holocaust in history. The transatlantic slave trade has happened on every continent that we were. And before I was my whole thing that I wanted to talk about, and I know I've been going on for long and don't want to make this a long, drawn out thing, but
not a problem, brother.
People should look at the map. I'm gonna tell people where we're from, and this is not by any book or anything like that. And this is another thing. When you a quick thing, when you go on a 42-day fast, the knowledge that you get, it's nothing to be played with. It's nothing to be played with. You're talking about electromagnetic. You're talking about electromagnetic power that's coming into your physical being. Talking about looking at that sun the same way, like when Brother Heru was talking about the sun and everything, about how we, use it to make energy, just like plants, just like that. He is 100% right. In science class, they told us that anything that's dark attracts more heat. So that should tell us one thing. So now I want people to look on a map. Doesn't matter what kind of map you have, but they taught you about the equator. They taught us about the equator. The equator is 0 degrees, right? Latitude, right?
Yes.
All right. So now if we go up north 30 degrees, you're at the start of the Tropic of Cancer. Back to the equator and then go south to the Tropic of Capricorn. That's 30 degrees north, 30 degrees south of the equator. Whatever land encompasses that zone is where we're from. We could say Africa, we could say China, we could say any land, but until we get rid of these monikers that was put on by this European, this new age man, then we're still in the prisons, in the shackles of what he's created. This is his creation. Like I said, man cannot create for us. Okay? And the whole thing about man that people don't understand is the meaning of man. The meaning of man just means a hand. You may think people, to prove it to you, if you look at a manual, or whether they say manual labor, it's something that you do with your hand. So when we talk about man, the hand, we're the hand of this earth, Mother Nature, to take care of this. We are not human. Human is something, man, that dumb people made up. Okay? We are like stewards of this earth. There's things going on in our bodies that we don't talk about on a regular and everything like that. So when we get back into the Tropic of Capricorn and the Tropic of Cancer, where the highest concentration of the so-called sun is, our battery is, that's where our power manifests. That's how our true energy manifests. Mm-hmm. You see, I've been watching the show. You're closer to Orlando.
Yes,
you're right there by that line. Florida is the only state, and a little bit of Texas, that falls into the Tropic of Capricorn.
So I guess that's why they give us the most hell in these parts, right?
Because you're right there, and think about that's exactly where they can survive without really damaging their skin cells and their cells. If you look at the map, if everybody who's listening to this look at that map and understand what I'm telling you, you'll understand why the slave trade and why they had to get us up out of where we were. That's why, because our power is too strong. Now, to add on to Brother Heru, when he's telling you about we take the sun in and we radiate that at night, which is true. If you notice, if you go anywhere, they will touch you. And, you know, we thinking they're touching us because, oh, they never seen a black person before. No, they touching you because you're heat. They need to be warm too. Your heat. I've been like, I'm into construction. So sometimes I go to the job and people are cold and I'm just walking around doing what I have to do and people are cold. But when they all want to hang out and talk, they want to come around me and talk and start talking. If the superintendent has his woman over, let me touch you. Ooh, you're warm, you know? And these are the things that go on. But we have to understand what this power is. This solar power, this solar energy, this where we belong at. And the reason why I'm telling you about the main reason of the Tropic of Cancer and Capricorn, which they, put it on their own maps. But we have to see it is because we have Tauruses, which extend out when it's, in tip-top shape, that extends out to 8 miles. 8 miles. That means your energy level is able to shoot out 8 miles of this radiation that we have within us once we're back to ourselves. And think about it, if we are all back on that same belt, because that belt goes around the whole world, the Tropic of Capricorn, the Tropic of Cancer. And we're talking 30 degrees from zero. We're going 30 degrees north, 30 degrees south. Now, you're talking about millions, probably billions of our people living in these areas. And if you look at Africa, that's why they're able to go up to Algeria and stuff like that, because it's right there on the line. Libya and stuff, they can live up, and that's why they can live in. If you look at Israel, that's why they can live in places like that, because it's above those places. They're not going to. If you notice what they're doing, like the Sudan, Brazil, and anything that's in there, they don't really occupy it, but they do. Control the goods and stuff and everything else there with the same guns and everything, but they're not setting up. Just like in Australia, the fires, most of the land that's being burned is really Aboriginal land. That's all that's being burnt up is the forest. They're burning up the jungles. I mean, they did it in South America. They're doing it in Australia. And nobody's telling us, but a lot of jungles in Africa was being burnt late last year. So now they
can
know
get them out.
What's happening. Mm-hmm. That they know that the trees. No, see, this is a lot of things that we don't know. Trees have an electrical circuit close to our makeup going through them, like the electric channels. Like I said, I'm not the best speaker, but the electricity, the electric currency, right. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like us. If you look at our veins, and then when you look at the veins of a leaf,
right? See that?
It looks just like a what you call those vein.
You're so right about that.
It looks like your veins. If you look at the vein structure within your body and everything, so the trees are just like us. We could go out there and talk to trees.
Yes.
Me and my wife, I was talking to trees.
Tree hugging, man.
She's like,
I'm with it.
Yeah, that's
Oh, I'm with it, man.
No, but here's the true story about it. We've never had I'm in Georgia, so that's way above that line.
Right.
And that avocados. We have a little bit of trees in the back and everything. No avocados. We would just throw seeds back there. Mm-hmm. There was a dead tree back there. Within a year or two, we have avocado trees from that dead tree growing now.
See that?
Every, one or two come up, but, it's not fully.
Right.
But it shows you, right. It shows you that I said I needed avocados. And just throwing leaves out or just throwing seeds out there, this manifests. So and these are the things that we have to consider. The position, because if you notice, if we have to be in the right position and we have to be in the right place. We have to go back to our time, the moon cycles and the sun cycles. We have to be who we are. We are the hand of this world. I mean, for the Bible people, if they look in the Roman times, it's Biblios, Helios, Biblios, which is the sun papers. That's all the Bible is. And the Bible, in the beginning, God made man and gave him free will. After that, anything written about God is bullshit. It's not right.
Say it again.
It's not right, because he said he gave man, he made man, gave you free will. If we understood what free will is, anytime God interferes, whether you telling God to interfere into your life or whatever, you're telling him to go against his word or what he made. If you really believe in your Bible, you're going against it. Anytime you ask for any man to interfere because you're not exercising your free will. If you know, when I was 14 years old, I used to go to Lancescurv Baptist Church, play basketball here, look for girls on Friday night, whatever.
Right.
You know, nothing serious. I asked one of the pastors, do they know where heaven is?
Well, you messed him up with that one.
No, because he's like, what are you talking about? I said, how could you tell me someplace about God and this, that, and you don't have an address to it? Nobody, has anybody been to heaven and came back and told us what it is? Or do you just get all these dreams and premonitions?
Right. But you're right, though, brother. What was his response?
Have you ever been?
What was his response?
Excuse me? His response is, I got to believe.
Oh, come on.
If you don't believe, I'm like, believe? I don't even... See, I came from a kind of like hard life. So I told him,
you need to know. Exactly.
I told him, I don't even trust my mother 100% that good. So you think I'm going to trust you when you're telling me about something that I need to believe in? I'm a hard skeptic. So, and then his name was Emilio. He's like, I'm being disruptive and everything like that. I'm being disruptive. Youth me and all the girls listening to the wisdom and everything. And, they don't, church, they don't like the attention being off of what they're teaching.
Right. Wow.
But then if you could ask them, like I asked, they wind up giving me the student Bible. I read these whole things, and I even asked them, have y'all read the whole Bible? I mean, you talking about these guys are there to teach the youth, and they talking about they read what they need to know. So that goes to show me that I can't listen to you, because my father always said, look, my father passed away 2 years ago, so that's why I'm always referred to him.
Yes.
My father was big on Proverbs, and he had this proverb that they taught him when he was young. He always taught our family this. It goes, all what you do with your might, because things done by halves are never done right.
Wow.
And that's what he raised up our whole family and my sisters and my younger brother. That's what he raised us with, that saying right there. So with that knowledge right there, when somebody's not coming complete and right to me, I can't, you understand? I can't take you for...
Right.
I can't take you seriously. I can't take you like you're completely true. You
got to go in hard or don't go in at all. Exactly.
Right. And another one of my questions to most people is, why are you, if God is omnipotent, if you understand what omnipresence, omnipotent, whatever you want to attain to your God, what makes him need a one man to come to me?
That's exactly.
He called David. He called David off the field. He called anybody he wanted to touch, he touched, right? So what are you doing up there on that pulpit? What are you doing up there? You're collecting money for the Vatican. That's all of this is about. It's about tax money. It's about, and like I say, I'm not going to attack that. Let's go into the Bible. Let's go a little bit into the Bible. Like I say, most of these people that we're arguing with, they haven't even read it. And if they read it, they would understand. Like I said, if in the first, when God created man, he created us, and then he gave us free will after that. Free will meaning hey, I created you. I gave you everything. You don't need nothing else. So every Christian, every Muslim, every whatever religion you want to claim, it's phony, because if you need more than what your God has provided for you, then you're not really, you're not really showing the power of your God.
Right.
You're not showing it. Your God is, I don't want to disrespect people's God, but I don't think your God is that powerful. If you're sitting there worrying about money, you're sitting there worrying about this, you're worrying about that, because everything we need comes from the plants. Everything. And if anybody out there can name something we don't get from the ground, the earth, then tell me. And that's another thing I don't understand. Why do we look up to the sky to pray? What comes from the sky?
Right.
What comes from the sky? We look up in the sky to go pray to God for what? Everything comes from the ground. Everything comes from the ground. So that should tell you where heaven is. That should tell you heaven, because when you think about it, when you're laying in the field, and everything, you're like, you feel good.
Right.
Laying on a bare lawn. Like if your lawn does, of course we don't use pesticides. If your lawn does not have pesticides, you could go lay on your lawn and intake that sun.
Of course.
But we so used to pesticides. And the thing about pesticides is you're going to die before you kill the one plant you're trying to kill.
Exactly.
Now, like I said, I want to keep this short, and I know I've been keeping you on, and I know you're a busy dude, and I hear everybody, running you for 2-3 hours at a time. I don't want to do that to you.
No problem, brother. That's
what I'm here for.
Word to
the wise is enough.
I love it.
A word to the wise is enough. But I want to talk about this whole God concept that people have and everything, and about our people. What I want to say about our people, that we got to understand that we don't need money. We got billionaires in Africa,
That's right.
in Australia, black billionaires all over. So money didn't free us. We got Nigerians got the most doctors. You understand what I'm saying? They said Africans come to get the most degrees. And black Americans since the 90s, since, Cosby era, and what's that show after the Cosby?
It's a different world.
Colleges and everything.
Different world.
Different world. That one. Great show. But also, that's the indoctrination. That's another story, though. Those years, black Americans been going to college at an all-time high rate. More than we've been going to jail. But they don't, like they say, they don't talk about that. So education is not going to help us. It's a key. It's one of the keys, but It's not the key. So, what is it? Then when we look at it, what is it? What is it going to help us? We're not going to pick up guns and go fight. That's not our nature. So then we got to go back to who are we? What is our greatest weapon? Which is nature. God and nature. And the whole thing is, I want people to understand that the Bible was written by man, so that's why it is confusion. But the difference between God and man is, all right, Brother Lance, like I say, when I talk, I like to talk and let everybody understand. I'm not going to go into nothing technical, nothing. Just plain talk, like we were just talking. Okay.
Right.
All right. Say you have children, right? You say you had 3 kids, right? I don't say you do, but we're just hypothetically speaking right now.
Yeah.
So you have 3 kids, right? All right. And you got food, right? Maybe not all, to fill up 2 big plates, but not for the third one. Aren't you going to take some off 2 plates to make a third one for the other one?
Of course.
All right. What you just showed is that you care about all your children. It doesn't matter if all 3 of them, if one of them eats more than the other one, but you want to make sure all of them have, right?
That's right. That's right.
All right. So then why we have to look at God like that? God created things for all of us, because man, with that evil and good and all that nonsense, is just concept that we made. It's concepts, because when the sun shines, and everything is spiritual for us. Because when the sun shines, it don't say I'm gonna shine for only the good people. It don't say I'm gonna shine for only the evil people. It shines and it do what it do.
That's right.
But yet no man could kill it. You can't kill the sun. That's how God made. God made something for whatever God made is for everybody.
That's right.
Black, white, it doesn't matter. It's just when you step out your boundary, that's when it starts killing you, like the sun. Like anytime they go in between the Capricorn and Cancer, that's when they start, having all that death and all that leprosy and stuff like that, because they stepping out of where they belong. That's it. The whole world is mixed up. The whole world is mixed up. And we're out of where we belong at. We belong in between that. And when you look at it, people would say, well, how come we only belong 30 degrees south? But if you look at it, that's almost 63% of the whole globe. That's 60%. And there's only 40%, which is mostly covered in ice and don't produce too much that we need. But that's where we belong at. So now when we go back to God, we look at that. We look at the moon. Man cannot make the moon. God made the moon. Man cannot make the sun, the stars. Man cannot make that. God made that. That plant that you've been, that's your driveway, you trying to kill it, spraying all type of stuff, and then evaporates, and then your wife got cancer all of a sudden. You don't know how she got it. Because you've been spraying some stuff to evaporate in the air so y'all can breathe it. Y'all gonna breathe it before. Or even if it rains, it's still gotta evaporate back in the air for you to breathe that.
That's right.
So that's what happens now. They can't even, all the stuff that man could build, they can't even kill that point, because 2 weeks later, the poison that you sprayed, it comes right back. It comes right back and just looks at you and you're like, they're good. But that's not and they call it a weed. It's not a weed. It's called, it's a God-given electrical plant.
Right, right.
It's a God-given electrical plant. It keeps growing. You're trying to kill it, and you're killing off your family members.
Killing yourself off, exactly. Not even realizing.
For one plant. And it's hard for you to realize it. You're under the chemical bath. Where all underneath this it is. It's a chemical bath we've been taking. The calcium and it's like, we could touch health, we could touch everything, but the thing I'm going to touch with my people most is identify what is God and identify what is man. Man will confuse the heck out of you, the hell out of you.
Mm-hmm.
Man will tell you blue look like black and black look like blue or whatever. They'll tell you whatever they want to tell you, but there's no explanation. Look at the animals. They've been doing what they since creation. And when the sun starts going down, all of them just take a seat where they're going to go and get in as much sun as they can and then leave and then go to bed. This is animals. Animals will bring more knowledge than anything we could read. We could sit there and read all these books. Man has written all these books, but what is inside of us that we see? What is inside of us? And it took me, and mind you, like, I know about, like I say, I could talk about anything from accountants to property taxes, anything, I could get into all of that, but I had to dash all that to the side and know
exactly.
That's just another, another thing to block your mind from who you really are. These doctors, they go to school, go to residency, no sleep. They don't sleep. So if you don't sleep, how are you going to get any type of knowledge? Because all your mind is filled up with the stuff that you got to learn.
And the patients are usually the ones who outlive the doctors.
Yeah. I had an ex-girlfriend before, had my kids and everything. She was studying to be a doctor. I told her why? Because all doctors do is give you medicine. She got pissed off. We had an argument by the Jersey Turnpike. Yeah. And she got pissed off. She don't understand what I was trying to tell her. I wasn't saying that she's going to be a bad doctor. I was trying to tell her that most doctors nowadays, that's what they do. They sign on to give you, they put more drugs than drug dealers on the street.
That's right.
And so
that's right. When you look at it that way.
That was the end of that because,
needless to say, right?
That was the end of that because, that was her, that was her whole livelihood. So I must have offended her, and that was it. But years later, you call me up and tell me, yeah, I see what you was talking about. Of course you see what I talked about, but you understand? So it's too late.
Exactly.
But the thing is, when we step out of all of these trying to be the smartest, trying to be the most richest, trying to be all of these epitaphs that Europeans has put, and you, like in the Bible, it says you cannot serve God and mammon. Like I said, man means the hand of God. Manual transmission shows you man. The main root of man means hand. So what does that make us? The hand of God, the hand of nature.
Perfectly said.
And that's what's going to happen. And when I say we got to realize what's God and what's made by man, God does not write a book for you. He shows you what he could do and what's to be done.
Mm-hmm.
If you believe in that whole God concept, if that's what you believe in, then you got to understand that man cannot make that sun. They cannot make that star. They cannot make the waters. Look at the waters. Man, who made water? Anything man create has to take from something that already has been created. And that's what basically the people need to hear. The people need to know that you see sons of God. Sons of God is that baby coming through that woman's legs. The holy of the holiest is through that woman's womb.
There you go.
And if you look at a lot of these Jesus pictures from back in the days and stuff, it's always in an oval shape. It's in the shape of a woman's
right.
a woman's vag. Yeah, that's what. If you look at the verb cuts and everything, that's all that is. These people are wild. These people are crazy and whatnot. So. But that's what happens when we sit there and we confuse God and man. We sit there, instead of reading the Bible, they go to church and giving up all this money to fund our destruction. Everything that is plastered on that TV for us is destruction, apart from, people like you and the missus. And I have to say special shout out to the missus, because when she talks that fire, Jesus Christ.
Really fire.
You know? and then my wife is here. She's like, yeah, I know what you know, she's getting everybody riled up. You know, and it's not just a foolish riling.
Right.
It's not a foolish riling like
right.
we just gonna get up and do. And no, it's she get us up for real. We need to be upset and angry to the point where we need to do something. We need to stop all this talking.
That's
you
right.
know, my thing for this time was to say, know the difference between God and man. Know the difference what God creates and what man has created for us. You know, and that's the thing. And whether God, Mother Nature, Allah, I don't know, your spirit being, the greater spirits, whatever they created, is much greater than whatever man can create, because man can only create from what exists from the creation already. You know, and that's it. And that's what I wanted people to understand. So all this, let me bless you, ain't no preacher could bless you. And if you look up the word bless means sucking of the blood, of bloodletting. That's an old German word. And this is the type of thing that, you know, like I said, I was destined to be what we say, a vagabond, or just somebody, you know, that don't really care about society's things.
Right.
But then when I was younger, I was placed in these classes that these so-called people, you know, are supposed to be smart, special class and all this other nonsense, you know? But then when you take that knowledge and you start breaking it down, you're like, wait, hold up, this is just confusion. You know?
Organized confusion.
Money. They telling us about money. Money for what? Like, and then property. People talking about, you got to get property. You got to get this. So where's the landlord? Who owns that land? Where's the deed from day one? There's no deed. There's nothing. So some man came with a concept like, look, I got this paper. It's to the title of this land, this amount of space on this land, and it's mine. And we went for the okie doke, and now it's like everybody's get real estate. Like everything we perpetuating for us is just within the confines of what was taught to us.
That's right.
That's all it is. We want more money, more land. You want more fame. But who's talking about what we really need, which is to really sit there and meditate about ourselves, to bring that young sister off the street that, you know, she thinks she got to hustle her body. She got to this, that, and the third, and teach her about how to grow a plant. You know, the reason why I say nature heals and nature does things, from when my kids were born, when they were cognizant enough to walk and look at things, I would take seeds and have them plant every summer. Because when they see that thing grow, they know what type of work they had to do to get it to the point where it has to, so they realize what life is. You know, you got to do little things like that. Have every summer, every spring, have your children plant, because then you're showing what God has created. That little seed is going to grow up into something. And when that child seed is my younger daughter, 2 years ago, before my father passed away, when my father came here, he came to see, you know, go in the backyard, see okra. He's like, oh, who's growing this okra? I had to tell him, your grandfather's growing it. I didn't do anything. All I did was probably put the soil in, and she put the seed in, everything. They seen a big okra plant just coming up, okra growing, everything. Grandma takes it and cooks it for them for that summer or whatever. These are the things that we're supposed to be doing.
Hands on.
We're supposed to be telling, and
right.
And it comes back to my journey of connecting to my people. When I got here, my parents, my own, everybody go to school, become an engineer, become a doctor, become this. All these lame ass professions, which I don't mean to offend nobody, but it is. Because all you're doing is reading a book, and you have to go through what people wrote already
and fit into a system.
You don't know the morality behind these. Mm-hmm. Right. You don't know the morality behind these teachings. What was the morality? Why didn't they teach us about our carbon in our brain? That the liquid that pumps in our brain, the carbon.
Mm-hmm.
How come they don't tell you about how come your hair grows against gravity, but only when you leave it for over a year to 2 years, it will start dropping back down. Only in thick locks. How come they didn't teach us about that? How come they didn't, you know? These are things we got to realize, that when we look at biology as it is now, it's not for us.
Right.
You know, biology is not for us. They telling you eat meat. You remember the pyramids? They telling us eat meat, eat bread. Bread is full of yeast. The killer, and then see this. We go back to religion. If you look in Leviticus, it tells you not to eat yeast. It tells you not to eat all these nasty animals they got us eating now. You know, yeast is like, women want to know why they have so much fibroids. Black women, y'all want to know why y'all got fibroids? Stop eating bread and cheese. Women, y'all produce your own milk. When you start eating another product from another animal, your body is going to start taking those minerals, those elements, whatever enzymes, and start trying to make itself, you know, assimilate itself to you. A cow's milk is pre-made for a 1,000-pound animal. Not a beautiful 120, 130, 40-pound woman. Is she thick? 155? You know, it's not made for that.
Right.
You produce your own. You produce your own milk. This is what God has made you. We go back to religion. You got to ask this. If God made man first, right? This is another thing I don't believe. God made man first, right? And they took a rib out to make a woman.
Imagine that.
But then after that, even with Jesus, he had to come through a woman. You know, the Son of God had to come through a woman. You understand what I'm saying? If you believe that Jesus is the Son of God, the Almighty, omnipresent, omnipotent, whatever you want to call him, he had to come through a woman. So when we go back to the beginning story, wouldn't God be contradicting himself? To do it that way first, instead of just making a woman and making her bring forth all the men and women? I mean, it makes more sense to me. It makes more sense. And that's just layman. You understand what I'm saying? That's just using our brain unfiltered. That's just using our brain. Nothing has changed since the beginning of time. So how could they inject this story about man and his rib? You know, and that's why people love eating ribs so much. They think it's a good
That's a
thing
good
to
one.
eat, yeah. You know, think about it. The people that belong in the church, when they finish, where they go? They're going to go eat ribs, right? Baby back, right?
Big time.
Why would you eat something called the baby's back? You understand what? This stuff is crazy to me. And then you look at the Jesus Christ. He's talking about the wine is the blood of Christ and the body of Christ is the bread. They break it and
sacrifices,
eat the bread.
huh?
That sounds like cannibalism and human sacrifice. Blood sacrificing, and you know, and cannibalism. That's talking about eating the body of Christ. I have to tell one of my beloved cousins, I'm like, no, hell no. She's like, yo, you watch your mouth. I'm like, hell no. I'm not gonna watch my mouth for something nasty. Like, y'all want me to eat the body? Y'all want to eat the body of Christ? Yeah, what that sound like? I want to eat the body of Christ. Your Savior, you want to eat his body. Now, the only people I know that ate their saviors, You know, with those Hyksos, the Hyksos and the candle, you know, because we go back to religion again. You see, everything starts from there. Let's go back to the Bible. The most hated people in the Bible is what? The Egyptians, right? Because they kept the Israelites in bondage, which is a lie. Because if the Israelites, they got to their chosen land afterwards, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't they build the stuff that they built as slaves? If they were so highly, you know, innovative.
That's right.
If they were the builders, they would, when you got your land and you got this great God with you, you would have built much greater works than in Egypt. But up to now, nobody can build what Khufu has built on those pyramids. No one. And they keep telling us, that's where they buried the dead kings. No, that's a power plant. What I call it, a geothermal power plant, because it was dealing with the earth. The natural waters at the bottom with the spinning wheel, and they would put in certain things, the salt water, electricity. Same thing, they say Nikola Tesla, the Tesla coil and everything like that comes from that technology. It's all relevant. We've done everything, you know? We've done everything. And then, you know, I was watching that Dave Chappelle special when he said that the, what you call that, the independence, the Declaration of Independence was written by the slaves. I'm like, hell yeah, that's the reason why we laughed at it, because it was true. If you really give that thought, you think them old men is going to sit up there and write all them good words just to turn around and just have slaves and molest girls and all that type of stuff?
Mm-hmm.
They don't believe in that. They didn't believe in that. So they couldn't. You could only write and say what you believe or what you know. So they didn't believe that. That was written by their slaves. The black slaves that was here already. And that's the genius of somebody like Dave Chappelle that we have to look at. But also with all that entertainment, we got to be careful about that too. All of that.
That's
so,
right.
But I'm not going to keep you too long. Like I said, I keep trying to tell you, I don't want to keep this too long.
Oh, brother, you know I got patience for the good stuff. It's the good stuff. You know what I mean? I don't go to the topless bar. I don't go to the bar. I don't go to the pub. I don't go gambling. This is my thing right here, man. I'm safe and I'm at home, and we're having a good conversation, and we're dropping truth, and we're going to share it with everybody, and just continue to enlighten ourselves. And you come back as much as you want, brother. I never say no. You know what I mean? This is not just a thing I've been doing for a couple of weeks or a year or two. This has been years. This has been the next year, 2021, even though I wasn't on YouTube for 20 years because it wasn't in existence until 2005. I would have been online with a site, the website and everything, the writing and everything, and the artwork and the shows and everything under that umbrella for 20 years, every day. You know what I mean? So it's a joy. Right. This is a habit that I've developed, and this is something that keeps me going because I'm a very cerebral person, and I like when I talk with thinkers like you and doers like yourself. And you made the mention of being a good speaker. You're an excellent speaker. You see, we have so many people who are indoctrinated with certain degrees, which is a partial thing, a degree, right? But they can't speak the truth and share it with the next person. What good is that? They may throw up good words and can be slick with the talk and sound good and rhyme and seduce people into believing foolishness, but you're kicking it raw, and that's the way that most people absorb it. You know what I mean? Because nothing bad that you said all good, and I understand it. You know, so it's just a matter of being yourself and holding your position, because there's nobody else in the world like you. Where you stand in the space you occupy, nobody else occupies that space. So you have a unique perspective over everybody else, and you can bring it like no one else. You know what I mean? So always know that, brother. Right. You know, and you're valuable. You're very valuable.
And I always say, and I owe you a lot of thanks, because listening over to you is, listening to a lot of people, especially like the Israelites saying they not African, and they going into the curse of Ham and all of this stuff. So I'm sitting here like, y'all keep reading these same things and, divide and conquer through that. It should tell y'all something after a while. Throw the book away. Either get proper understanding of the book or fling it away.
Exactly.
Because it's not doing you no justice to say, look, we're going to, we were brought here as slaves and just cut Africa off. All right, they brought slaves here. People were stolen and everything like that. You don't think those ancestors are still in Africa? The family of those people are still in Africa? You don't think so? So now you're distinguishing Ham and thing. All right, now you're trying to say this land was yours. All right, fine. So how are you going to get anything if you're calling yourself the descendants of slaves, of slaves where they came from Africa? Same way with the Moors. They didn't make sense when they trying to tell me they're not African. But where were y'all located? In Moors, where? In Spain?
So we're
not located in Spain.
So therefore, we're not connected. You know what I mean? I mean, that's crazy. Like, say, for example...
No, they said...
Yeah.
Here it is. They say they from Morocco. I'm like, so which land is Morocco from? It's on Africa. Right. So no matter what language, no matter what word you want to say, we got to get from underneath all of these words, man. All these false identities. Israelites, Israel, they don't even break it down. It's ISIS, Ra, and Elohim, Israel. That's all it is. They took three deities, put them together, and made a people. And our people, once we hear something good and something, we're ready to go behind it,
See, but that's the thing.
I remember when black people used to... Yeah, I remember black people used to be like, no, I'm not dealing with that gay business. You know what I mean? I don't deal with no gays or nothing like that. They can do what they do. But, but now it's like, but not everybody's falling in line with it. I'm like, wait a minute. Hold on. And I'm not going to, I don't disrespect you because at the end of the day, when you go in your bedroom, if you got a horse or a cow in there, I don't know. I don't care. That's not my business. I'm not laying down with you. You understand?
Go by the bedroom to hear.
But then when you want to stand, right? I don't know. You could have a pig. I don't know what you have. Your cat. Your dog. I don't want. Look, when a woman too friendly with their dogs, I don't trust that woman.
That's right.
I don't trust it.
Exactly. You don't know what they do at night.
Dogs is just like men, yo. Anytime that woman bend over, that dog gonna try something, yo.
Of course.
Dogs are just and these women kissing dog in their mouth and all of this stuff. I mean, like, I don't care what you want to do in your bedroom, but when you stand on the TV that I'm watching with my children and want to tell me about, because look, if somebody come and tell me they gay, right? Mm-hmm. I look at you like, honestly, like, I feel you disrespected me because you're talking sex. Right. All gay is sex.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, how would I know if you're gay unless I'm sleeping with you?
And why should I know? Right.
But you just want to talk.
Right.
Exactly.
Why are you telling me that?
Exactly. If we at the office, you understand? Look what's happening at the office. You could come and say somebody gay. It's okay to do that now. But if I go there and say, yeah, I put it on my wife last night, you know how much sexual harassment I'm going to get?
Exactly. Exactly.
But you telling me you're gay, which is based on sexual appreciation for your same sex. Mm-hmm. You understand? So if you kept that in your bedroom, how would I know? So when you come and tell me you're gay, that takes away from everything who you are. Right. You just told me you're just a peanut butter chaser. That's all you... Yeah, that's all you told me. I'm gay. I like men. Okay,
Hershey's
what do you...
chocolate.
What? Right. What? When you come around me, I like to do different things. I'm an herbalist. I love herbs. I love nature. So if we're going to deal with that, let's deal with that. But don't come and say, I like him. Once you do that, I'm gone from you, because now you feel comfortable to disrespect me.
Right, right.
And start talking about your sexual endeavors, whatever nastiness that you like. I don't do that. I don't talk. How do I look like making love to my wife and then going back and tell somebody?
Right.
You know, when you say I'm married, that's it. When you say you married, all right. You married to a dude, fine. I don't really need to know that. I don't want to know that. I don't want to know. You know, because nothing produces out of it. Everything has a seed, and whatever fall into the earth, something come up into it comes into something, right?
That's right.
So when your seed go into something, it's supposed to rise up into something. But ain't nothing going in a pit, in a shit pit, and
there's no growth in there.
In a shit pit but bacteria.
Right.
Right. Nothing in there but bacteria. You know? So that's what y'all want to do. And y'all want to talk about put your mouth here, put your mouth there. And then they breaking up the black family off of, you see, and we go back to religion. We have to go back to them 7 deadly sins. Our people are dying off of one main sin, and that's vanity, because everything is about how things look. It don't look right.
Looking today with social media, how it's taking over social media.
Right.
And it's all about the look.
Right. It don't sound right. It don't sound right. He shouldn't have said that. It don't look right for a person like that to. It's vanity, how things look, whether it's your image, whether you wrote something on thing and on social media and you can't stand by it because, you know, too many people is unpopular. And that's what's happening. It's how things look like. Go to the store. Oh, I got to fix my hair first. How I look like? I look sexy though. You got people like Lizzo.
Oh, God.
She's a classically trained flutist. She could play the flute. You do not need to show your body. And when you say something, your body shaming? No, baby. They love you. They want you to do better and get better. Why can't we see it as a positive? But it goes back to the Bible when it tells you that when you chastise a fool, you know, you're going to fall into a lot of fallacy, you know? They're going to cuss you and do a whole bunch of stuff. But when you chastise a wise person, they will say, thank you, and I'm going to learn from what you taught me.
Right. That's how it works.
So we're being led by fools, you know? You could entertain me, but I don't want to know your ideology.
Right. And when I find that it's twisted, I don't even want you to entertain me.
I don't.
You know?
Yeah, there's no morality behind what you're doing or what you're saying. So, yeah. So it's like, what do you want me to do? You want me to follow it wholeheartedly? I can't. You know, like all these Hollywood. I mean, let's be for real. Why do they get? Why? I mean, if you pay me $20 million to do a show and I had to dig it up, that's about it. That's all you're gonna get from me. I don't want to be famous.
Right.
What's behind this fame? Why do they got to show their faces and say, Beam, I'm the black person to speak for all blacks? It's the spiritual thing, because they know once we see it, all right, say like one of your lessons, one of your lectures, it gets 12 million views. Do you understand how many people you've touched?
Yes. And
out of that 12 million, you're going to get at least 100,000 that's going to do something about it.
Right, because most people will absorb it. They won't absorb it, but it'll roll off. But some will let it stick to them. You know. You're right.
But you see, even if you have that person that wasn't screaming Black Power, now screaming Black Power, you've done something. Because if they heard you, because if I heard you, everything that I've said on this show would never have been heard until I was listening to you, Brother Kweku, and your lovely wife. Okay?
Yes, thank you.
Brother Heru. You know, listening to all the other people, and I think it's Brother Grunge.
Yes.
Brother Grunge. He a powerful individual. Tell him every time he scuffs or whatever. Tell him I feel what he's feeling. Like when he told us about that lawyer, and I started digging. Man, me and my wife sat there, and I just like seriously, like if they did it yesterday, like they bombed him yesterday, you know?
Right.
We sat there and we took that in because of him, I understood that there is so much more, which makes you go further ahead and do more. So everybody got to connect. We got to take away all these epithets, all these names, all these unmoralistic ways that have been placed upon us, and we sitting there fighting behind it like it's really doing something for us.
Right.
You know? You have organizations that's been there for over 50, 60 years, and the state of the black folks is still the same.
Nothing's changed.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
It's still the same, and these organizations are still existing. To me, you've done more for the little bit of time that you've been on YouTube than most of these people trying to pull all these people in and giving them false knowledge. Like, I love the Nation of Islam for one thing they do. They take guys off the street, and but their founder, Elijah Muhammad, his whole teaching was based on what? Marcus Mosiah Garvey, because his parents were Garveyites.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So before there was a Nation of Islam movement, before they could even be an Elijah Muhammad, the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey had 15 million people ready to go and build for us the Black Star. We know about all of this. We know about it. But again, when do we take his reins and start building back our ships, our boats, and our stuff? That's all we have to do now.
Right.
You know, and not follow the design of this man right here, because there's a better design for us that we know if we work with nature, we could get back to the, like, you know, Enoch said, you know, the ships that's flying in the air and everything like that. You know? All these findings nowadays, they're finding out that nothing is new. No technology is new. No technology is new. I know most people won't believe it, but like I said, if you go back to the Egyptian pyramids, they have light bulbs. They had everything, and that's why they spoke so ill about Pharaoh. You go back to Egypt. Everybody used to come to Egypt to feed off of Egypt, right? Because the world couldn't bring nothing to Egypt. There was nothing else
right.
you could bring. What could you bring to the people that have everything? What could you bring to them? So all they could do, nothing. They couldn't bring nothing to us. They could bring little trinkets and stuff that meant nothing to us. They came to get gold. Gold is still there. So now everything that we've been chasing, everything we think and we've been looking after, is nonsense until we get back to our spiritual self, understand that we are the hand of this world. That's why Jesus said, if you so believe with like a little mustard seed, if you say mountain move, that's the power that's within us. You know, and people don't believe it. And I know it sounds all churchy and all of that stuff.
Well, it's the truth, brother. It's the truth.
Have to understand that. That's who we are. That's who we are. And we can't be scared. You know, me, I wasn't scared. I just said, gave up on humanity, you know? Let me stay in my corner and whatnot. But as I did that, I see so much people getting in trouble, so much people that I could have helped out. I see some old friends. And I'm like, dang, all you have to know is this, know this. I could have helped. And the worst thing I think that happened was I watched my father deteriorate right before my eyes. And before he passed away, hello?
Yeah, I'm right here with you, brother.
Oh, okay. And before he passed away, excuse me, he came down to my house for 2 weeks. He came here with a cane in his hand. He left here walking on his own. And like I said, I don't know what happened after that, because when he came here, I would not let him eat no meat. I wouldn't let him do anything to basically harm himself.
Right.
And I had him on herbs. He got a chance to dance with my mother. We got it on video and everything. I mean, to the point where, and it's crazy. And then he left. After those 2 weeks, he left. And the next year, he passed away. I sent him with herbs, drink this. He told my mother he goes to the bathroom too much. He takes the herbs.
It's cleansing out.
Okay. So this is something that, you understand, that I have to live with, because I didn't step out of my fear zone and, override my mother, override everybody else, and just say, no, this is what you got to do. And and like I said, we have to go back to nature, because when we look at nature, every family had a healer. You got a healer, you got a diplomat, which speaks to the outside world, and you have, the schoolboy. You're going to have the woman that could cook meals. That was my mother. Cook meals. You got the one that could handle the kids better than everybody else. So within a family, we have different positions that was assigned to us. But, nowadays, you got to go to school, and they're giving positions to anybody.
Exactly.
Like me, myself, there's a lot of mystic. When I say mystic things that's happened to me. Yes, my wife will tell you about it. And the only thing I can say is my mother closed her eyes to it. She knew what was going on about spiritual. Like, if I start talking about spiritual things, people would think that, he probably deals with the devil or whatever. But no, I've never done a ritual. You understand what I'm saying? But if I told people that after fasting for 42 days, there were spirits coming to talk to you,
right,
talk to me,
they don't understand.
My wife's grandmother, my grandmother come grabbing me off my grandmother grabbing me off my bed and walking with me. And next thing you know, we back in Africa.
See that?
I'm waking up. I feel cold. It's summertime. I feel cold. When I say cold, like it was freezing. Everybody, and my wife is like, well, and you can't tell people these things because they don't know. They don't know. It's so much out there, but the world before our eyes is a lie. And I just need people to understand that you are not following God. You are following the words of man. Man, God gave you free will, and man has overtaken your will and try to manipulate it to what it is. And my saying that I've made up is God creates, man manipulates. Look in that Bible, and we got to comb it and find out the truth. The Bible is a history. Everybody that's getting killed on the attack and they were evil in there is basically us. We don't know where the Israelites came from, but all of a sudden, they went to Egypt to go get food, and all of a sudden they became slaves, and then all this stuff happened.
Exactly.
God tried to intervene, which goes against free will. Why would he intervene for if we had free will to carve this the way it is? And I like for people to watch, what's that? I forgot this movie where it's like they sitting around. It's like before the Crusades. It's talking about this Crusades and stuff like that with Orlando Bloom or whatever. And they show you, they sitting around talking about God wills it. We must have blood and God wills it. And I'm sitting there like, what? What the Kingdom of Heaven? That's the name of the movie, Kingdom of Heaven. People need to watch that movie, and you watch the atrocities that they did and everything. And I don't want everybody. Last thing, people don't get caught up in anything that's happening now. Iran, with America, or anything. Look out for us. Don't worry about all of that. Let me tell you something about them Arabs. Arabs are the first ones with the enslaving anyway. You know, they taught the castration because they used to castrate us. That's why my father taught me this before he passed. It was the Arabs. They used to call them al-Hajis or whatever. Okay? My father, like I said, when a man, my father used to have the grown people in his town come in there just to listen to him talk about his knowledge and everything. But anyway, yeah, so they were the first ones to enslave us. They made a pact with the Europeans to enslave us. So that's why you don't see nobody pointing to them as like, wait a minute. The white man has to pay for our slaves. But what about the Arabs? What about those people, the Berbers, the Arabs? What about those people that they're still doing it in Libya up to now? They still want to sell you.
Yep. Organ theft and everything. So,
right. So sit back and let them fight. Let them fight. Let the white man fight the Arab. They deserve each other because they made a pact to come take us down, and now they fighting among each other. Anarchy in the ranks means is a good thing for us. So all that Middle East stuff, let them bomb each other out. Who cares? You know, that don't have nothing to do with us. What we need to do is prepare ourselves and get in between that Capricorn, that Tropic of Capricorn and Tropic of Cancer, and to set up and be our spiritual things that's going to happen. And that's it.
There you go, my brother.
That's all we need to do. It may sound simple, it may sound stupid. Same way when people told me about fasting. You know?
Right.
I'm like, please, what does not eating and drinking herbs every day got to do with, disease and everything? Sure enough, I did it. Okay. Keep doing it. And I couldn't tell you when the last time I seen a doctor, man. I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you when the last time my kids, no shots. I had to fight the hospital to take my kids out the same day. I'm one of those people. Like, I don't like violence, and but I'm going to fight for mine, I'm going to fight for mine. And, right. Yeah, with my daughter, the hospital, my wife went in for a quick, she's supposed to spend the night. We stayed there as late as we can. We left, my son and I left. And as soon as we got home, they said she's about to have the baby. So, okay, got to wake up my son again. That time my son was 2 years old. Said, come on, we got to go. Mom's having the baby. Grabbed her, drove to the hospital. I got there. They told me my daughter's up in the ICU. I said, what? So next thing I go, I'm in the ICU. They got tubes on her. I'm like, what is wrong with her? Y'all got to tell me what's wrong with her. Take them goddamn tubes. So I'm going buck wild up in there.
Of course.
And remember what I told you. I seen my great-grandmother. Oh, I didn't tell you this. My great-grandmother was blind when she was delivering all these babies and stuff like that, Okay, so she was blind. My grandmother, I've seen babies delivered where they say the baby was turned around and everything, and healthy birth. Without no machines, without no antibiotics, and without any drugs, nothing. I've seen it done. So that is so powerful and ingrained within me. When I went to the hospital, I just started seeing red, like they trying to kill my daughter. They keep telling me she has a blockage. She has a blockage. I'm like, how the hell y'all see a blockage within her mother's stomach and then within her stomach too?
Excuses.
Unless you're putting too much radiation in there, and nobody authorized that. So now, oh sir, I'm here to help you. I'm on your side. I looked at that lady. I said, no, you're not.
Right.
None of y'all on our side. Give me my baby and let me go home. So after a couple of hours, they called police, and security come upstairs. We're talking. I said, look, I'm not here. They like, look, these people are scared of you. They're afraid that you might hurt somebody, this, that, try to play that game with me. I said, look, officers, I'm not here to hurt no one. I'm here for my child. This is supposed to be a happy time. This is my first daughter. But look at me, I'm stressed out because I got her here with all these things that was never, for you to put us in this, it has to be like a procession of things that happened for her to be here.
Right. But
there was no procession. Y'all just took her upstairs to the ICU. So what you trying to do to my? So, I would not leave. They see I would not leave. The police, I told you, and then he went back to speak to the doctor, said, all right, well, they don't know what to do since I'm not really up there. I'm here for a reason. Then my wife, she comes upstairs, just had the baby. She's walking upstairs. So they see we serious now.
Right.
So now they take the tubes out of her. First they told me the meconium is not coming out, so they can't. So I go and whisper in her ear because I always been talking to them since they've been in her belly. So I go, come on, little girl. These idiots want to keep you in here. Daddy's here now. Go ahead. Let the meconium out and let's go. She let it out. They didn't want her to let her go. So now they see me. I'm not moving from her side.
That's right.
You're not going to do nothing to my daughter. And I'm so serious. And they knew it. Even with my son, the doctor was like, wow, you seem so excited because I was straight-faced with them. I'm not going to get overly excited where y'all could just pull a hoodwink and start sticking them with all type of shit.
Exactly.
And that's the problem with us. We get too excited too quick and not to, and don't follow through. We have to follow through. So after a couple of hours, after they changed shifts, the doctor of that shift came. This is the next morning and said, no, before, and then took took her from the ICU and took her into the same room as where my wife was at. So she, she was never out of our sight. Later on that day, they said, well, she seemed healthy enough. She could go. But it's not because she was healthy, because y'all see that. And then the worst thing about the whole thing, and this is the worst thing, and this is what got me scared. You would think I'd be scared because, they got police up there ready to take me to jail and all this other stuff. I wasn't scared of that. The worst thing, the thing that got me the most scared is when we were leaving out the hospital with my daughter, the nurses, the black nurses was coming up. We need more men like you in here.
Oh, wow.
They were coming whispering it like it was slavery times. I said, no. So I looked at them.
Wow.
But, I'm happy to get my daughter out that place. And that's what I'm saying. And it's not just one that came in. It was one when we was leaving the room. She was talking to us when we got out the room. One by the elevator. And then when we were leaving out from the lobby, it was one that said, oh, you were the one upstairs making noise. I said, yeah, I have to come get my daughter. And then she's like, yeah, got her, right? And she's smiling. You could tell. You see the light in her face like, I'm glad you got your daughter. It was like some Get Out business. I never seen the movie, but everybody would say,
And they might know a little more to what goes on up in there. You know what I mean? They might know that, of course, not that they might. They do know a lot more what goes on. They hear the whisperings and different things. Who knows what they're doing to the children up there? I mean, organ theft is real,
Organ theft, and that's the same thing. And like the dead bodies, half of your organs in your body stay alive for hours when it's intact in your body. So when you send it to the morgue, they freeze them. They can take them organs out. And how many of us go and look at the naked body or whatever happened to the body of your dead one, of your loved one that died? We don't look at it. We don't do nothing. We just take words.
We just trust these strangers.
Same way, like I say, with the Bible. We just take words, things out of the Bible. But the whole thing is, like, if anybody's reading that Bible, there's a few things that give you knowledge in there, you know? But the 3 books that I was, Proverbs, Psalms, and Ecclesiastics, nobody talks about Ecclesiastics, which basically, it tells you that everything is just for vanity. No matter what man makes, it's for vanity. It's just to say, like, just to beat our chest and say, oh shit, I made this. That's it. It doesn't go along with what God has made. You know? I'm sorry. My kids are following me around because when I start talking, they like to listen to it. I'm talking like this, and they just keep walking me.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah, that's them. They, like, I don't send them to school, and if you talk to my 7 and 5 years old, then they'll probably talk to you like they're grown ups or whatever, you know. So yeah, that's what we're doing though, and that's it. I just needed to speak to people and understand what God made, understand what man made. And that's what we need to do. Understand that the revolution is with yourself and not with nobody else. Because once you turn away from the nonsense that man makes, you have no other option but to use what God has given you.
Right.
And that's why you can't serve man and God and mammon at the same time. You can't. Some of us want to say, "Oh, let me go and do this. Let me go and do this. I could still stay in the system, but sooner or less, you're going to either get eaten up or it's going to take you away." You know? So, and that's about it. But I want people to understand what God is. God makes things for everybody. He doesn't judge you whether you're good or you're bad. So all these people talking about you're having sex and all that and you're evil, and that don't have nothing to do with God. You know, he made us and we could do whatever we want to do except spill the blood of your own, spill the blood of people. And that's about it. And he tells you that. That's why he tells you that he felt the blood of Cain and Abel, you know?
Right.
With that whole situation. He said, I heard his blood cry out to me. You know? So that's what we gotta understand. And we can't be on this religious path. We can't be worrying about Jesus. We can't be worrying about nothing. We got to worry about what we're doing here in the now. We can't be worrying about 2,000 years ago. We got to take what we are and come into now with it. You know, who wants to follow behind man? Follow behind man. Who wants to know that they're God, the hand of God? They associate with Mother Nature, the hand of nature. Then you will do something. You're going to do it. You know, I can't. One thing Dick Gregory said that stays in my head that I used to try to, you know, when you're younger, you try to always, when you learn the knowledge, you're always trying to spread it amongst your friends. You're trying to put it with people and stuff like that. And, you know, you get into arguments, all type of debates, all type of senseless things. And when the Honorable Dick Gregory said, it's a sin to try to make people see what you see. You know? What are you on?
Dick Gregory.
I'm sorry.
That's no problem.
I had to play parent for a second. You okay, little girl? Okay. I apologize. Yeah, so, but let's get to the end of this and we'll call back. We'll do another one.
Most definitely, brother.
You know, like I say, I always start off it's always from the top in the heart, my head and my heart. Most of these things that I said, the Capricorn, the Tropic of Capricorn and Tropic of Cancer, that's where we belong on every landmass in the world. It's proven. So those are the main things I want people to understand. The reason why we're catching hell is because we're in a place where it's not meant for us. That's number one. And number two, that Bible, we are reading it all wrong. All wrong. We don't know the difference between man and God, and we have to realize that. And that's it. Churches are made by man, not God. When you look at the sun, the moon, and the stars, the earth, the growth, look at the minerals in the soil. Who put that there? Those are the things we have to deal with. And if we don't deal with nothing like, and if we dealing with guns and money and all of that, we don't see the rawness of this earth no more. We don't see the power within us. We don't see that we're the hand of God, that we need to till the land. We need to, pluck the fruits of the trees. We take the plants and make medicine and everything like that. If we're not doing that, then we're not living according to what we're supposed to, and that's what's killing us. Mm. That is all that's killing us, because we're trying to live in a paradigm of another man, underneath the narrative of another man, what he says and what he speaks about. But that's not us. No man can tell our tale. And it's only the earth, the moon, and the stars, and the animals that's been here from the beginning of the time. They'll tell you who you are. And that's about it. And so that's about it. But again, like I said, I'd like to give thanks to you, Mr. Scurv and Mrs. Scurv, for her fiery. And we need more females with the fire. If you want the men, this is one thing we got to understand. No matter what a man does, we're doing it for women. No matter what we do, a man gets a haircut so he can look good for a woman. A man buys a car so he can try to get a woman. A man buys a house so he can have a home with his wife. No matter what we do, man doesn't do nothing for himself. He does it for women. He fights his wars. We fight our wars for women. For the love of a woman. Trojan horse. Helen of Troy will tell that story and everything. Man reacts off a woman. And that's why they've been so surgical with the black women. We do what they want. If your wife says, no, I don't want that, trust me, you're not going to do it. If it's going to bring, rambunction in the house, you're not going to do it as a man, because we understand that we need to be that.
You're right.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's it. So the women, it starts with the woman. We need more Mrs. Scurvs out there to tell us how they feel. We need the feeling opposed to politically correctness. We need the raw. We need the raw energy that we have within us. And when I hear her talk, I know she's not regurgitating something she heard. She's not speaking in paragraphs and structured or whatever,
Exactly, straight from the heart.
Yeah, and that's how we got it. Well, I want to say she's smart, because to me, most smart people aren't really that smart.
Oh, no, I said straight from the heart.
The classification of how the European judge is smart.
Straight from the heart, I said. Straight from the heart.
I think she...
Straight from the heart.
Yeah, she's hard. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah.
Hard,
Straight from the heart.
She's hard. And I think she's she's mindful. She's mindful. I got a good one too. She's mindful too, Yes. She's the one that taught me about the Taurus moving 8 miles when you're balanced and centered. But then, yeah. So, yeah, we need more fire. We need more women. We need more women to talk. The men, we've been talking, for the longest. We've been getting up on the knowledge. I've been, going, New York was just a mecca in the 90s. 80s and 90s, the 5%ers, you had everything. So you learn from that.
Yes.
You learn from that and up to now. And then we understand what we are. So you take the olden days and then you put it up to the things we're doing now. and you'll understand that the 5% is the teaching that they taught, that whatever the white man has done, turn it around and upside down, and you'll get the truth. It's the 100% truth from them. In the Bible, the Egyptians, the Africans were made to look evil, right?
Across the board, for real.
Right. What about Moses? Moses was raised up with the royal family, right? He was raised up, and then he turned his back on them because he said his peoples or whatever. None of these people ever raised them. So all of a sudden, they want you to believe that he's just going to turn his back on the whole family that gave him everything he has, and he just going, because some other person from another land told him to come in. The Lord, the owner of the land, told him to come and steal. He stole the ark, right? Why God just didn't blink it away if that was the case? Why he had to steal a physical object? People, the thing is, people, we got to put it together. We got to put it together. God doesn't do nothing. Just like the black on y'all skins, God doesn't do nothing in the shadows. You hear me? Same way we have to come together and, no matter what we talk about, we could put it out there. You know why? Because who could stop it? Who could stop God? But the whole thing is we've been fighting this war the wrong way. That's all it is.
Right about that.
It's almost as if, you back in the days, you get into a fight with somebody and then it's like, yo, you moving too fast. Yo, let's just box. Yo, let's wrestle. They trying to pick the arenas that they could best you in and whatnot, and then you're going to agree to their discipline and say, okay, this is what we're going to fight. No, that's foolishness.
Well, they'll lack
you fight
of discipline.
with your discipline, they fight with their discipline.
That's right.
So the thing is, what is our discipline? We know the sun is our beacon. And tonight, like I said, people have heard that the tropics of Capricorn and the tropics of Cancer, that is where we belong, no matter what land over there is. No matter what land. And these crazy people has mapped it out too. These psychopaths, sociopaths, I call them Europeans, but to me they're sociopaths. That's all they are. Crazy, like they're like a whole bunch of crazy people in the loony bin. Look at the Donald Trump. Rich people, they crazy. That's all it is. So we have to go back into our narrative, which is basically like, and this is my movement is not in stone yet, but this is the first time anybody's going to hear about NLC, nature, love, and creation. That's all I'm dealing with, nature, love, and creation. Whatever I do, is it out of nature? I ask those three questions. Is this from nature? Is it out of love? And is it out of creation? Does it create? Because anything opposed to creation is breaking down something. Anything opposed to love is hating. Anything opposed to nature is unnatural, which is not for us. So that's what I introduced to our people, is to become nature, love, and creation. That is going to be my organization. Not an organization, not a movement, but that's going to be our moniker. Because if you think about it, we're built out of what? Nature, love, and creation. Because out of love, we create. Out of nature, we are here. And we're maintained. So you can mix it up in any way you want to. Like, say, you walking up to somebody. And, this person, I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go do that. Oh, you got to ask them, is it from nature? Is it out of love? Are you doing it out of love? And does it create something? or does it break down something? And that's all. So nature, love, and creation, that's what we should live by. And that's it. Forget about all those religious names. Forget about belonging to this group. Forget about, oh, I got the most education. I got the most PhDs and PPDs or whatever. All these foolishness that don't tell you the morality of a person. You know? But if a person is dealing with nature, love, and creation, that's all you could deal with. Nature, is it natural? You know if it's natural. You know if it has to deal with love because it touches the people. And does it create? What did it create? Did it create? And that's it. And so that's my 2020. That's my only New Year's resolution or whatever they call it. Resolution for the New Year, to build that up right there. And if people use it as nature, love, creation as a guideline, I would love that. Because once we get into nature, love, and creation, there's no room for nothing else. You know? Some dude hit a woman. Dude, is that creation? Is that love? No. Is that out of nature? No. Nature don't, you don't see animals beating on their wives and stuff like that. So no, that's not of us. That didn't come from us. That came from them. That's why they have to write and document things. Because what's in us is what's in us already. And that's it. So that I have, man.
Yes, my
I know
brother.
you're a busy person and you got plenty of more people to go learn from, man. And,
we good, man. We good. We good. I'm like a student, man. Once it starts rolling, I get the pen and paper out, and I'm good. I'm learning too.
Make sure to check out the boldest blog at Lancescurv.com and follow Scurv on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube under Lancescurv.